Hello, everybody. We are about to begin. We will talk today within the festival LINOLEUM about the commercial and author animation, how it's different, maybe something similar in it. Actually, when I researched information about three of the creators of the animation, I would say, I was thinking about talking on maybe women in animation or the exploration of the themes in it, but actually this theme of commercializing or advertisement in animation and animation in advertisement is something that's not being discussed because of the money, because of the potential of the auteur animation, which combines sometimes or enters into a commercial world. But I want to begin with everybody, because I want to begin just about the entrance into animation. How did animation come into your life? And as not as a viewer, but as a creator. Who's the first?
Oh. Hello. I didn't do that.
Hello.
Can you hear me? Yeah? Okay. How did animation enter my life?
Yes.
Well, I was always a drawer, and I studied in fine arts school. And I wasn't necessarily a big amateur of animation back then. Like growing up, I was more into painting or comic books. And when I entered art school, I got really attracted by graphic design, and because it explores just so many kinds of mediums and formats. And during that study, I felt quite short on the whole idea of narration, and I wanted to explore that a bit more. So I started like really making images that were just a bit more than a graphic design or communication product. And so I felt I needed to explore a medium where I could work with image sequences. And I was also not so comfortable with using text, literally, but I was really triggered by working with music and sound. So kind of that combined, I started doing animation, kind of self-taught aside from class, because we didn't study it. And then I met some musicians who asked me to do animations, and that's kind of how it all started for me.
This is my way of presenting you, because I did not present women in animation, at least Saey. Yeah. And how was it with Daphna? Was it maybe in the early age when you were a child, maybe something like that?
Since I remember myself, I always drew. I was always into art. But I think what was really attractive for me in study animation was that it was also involved with studying cinema, and yeah, that was like a big reason why I wanted to study animation and not visual communication. So that's how I entered into this really beautiful world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Daphna Awadish, that was?
So, I guess I also was a drawer from very beginning, but I have never thought about that as my profession. I was just drawing on a mass or something like that. So after school I became an economist, but I got expelled from my university in my first year. And it was pretty tough here. And then I decided to rewatch some old Disney movies. And that was the first time. I was like 18 years old or something. That was the first time I saw an end credit. And I saw that actually this movie was made by people. I have never thought about that before. And I saw there was like a background artist, and I realized, oh, I want to be a background artist. That was the year when everyone started to produce 3D animation, so no one was doing backgrounds anymore. But I was pretty sure anyway, I will do those. And then I started to discover more about animation through Google. And I found out the profession that's called visual development. It's when you do designs both for characters and for environments for feature animation or for TV animation. And I realized I want to be one of those, because those, like Disney worlds, they made me really happy when I was watching them as a viewer. And I set myself like a goal to become part of a Disney. I'm not in Disney. I'm in Netflix, not that bad, but I still want to go there. And I really enjoy those people, those community, and every passion they share among each other. So that's how I become here.
Okay, Tory, Polska. You talked about the animation as a hobby at the first time. Was it the same with you? Was it maybe a hobby which made you commercialize your work? Or was it something different in the path of the creating animation? I mean, the hobby, it was obvious because like you're working with your auteur animation and you taking something personal into the cinema. But when the shift came that you're a professional, you thought about yourself as a professional? Or it never happened?
I'm not sure I understood the question.
The question was when the shift happened, when you understood Europe on a professional level, not just, it's not a hobby anymore.
Yeah, I think when I entered to the academy, and it was very, I studied for my BA in a Bezalel Academy of Art and Design in Jerusalem, and it was very intensive. Yeah, those years were very intensive. We worked so hard. The pressure was high. It was very competitive, but I can also say that it pushed me very, very far. So, yeah, from then I think it was, yeah, about making it as a profession.
Alice, was it similar experience?
I'm not sure I ever perceived drawing as a hobby. I always knew it was possible for it to become my work. So when I was a kid, I knew I wanted to be either a comic book artist or an architect. I mean, it wasn't like, how can I make my living with this? So, like anyone who wants to be a doctor or whatever, they don't have a love for science as a hobby. It's like a life plan or something. So it's lovely that just do what I enjoy doing the most and making a living off of it. But of course, then you just professionalize when you go to art school, I guess. So it's the same as you.
I noticed that you have not only different approaches to your animation, but you're exploring different themes of, for example, for Alice, this is more poetry, more something like you're working with visuals, so is Tory, but Tory is working with the visuals on, I would not say different level, but it's like you're creating worlds with a big amount of people. And for Daphna, it's exploring home, for example. Do you approach your personal themes into commercial work, or it's just assignment for you?
Okay, I'll start. Well, as far as I'm concerned, kind of everything I've done was in the form of a commission. So I've only done music videos or trailers or animations for theater. Now I'm making my own short film, but I actually approach commissions as like something that has to be personal for me. Otherwise, I mean, unless it's extremely well paid, and then I know my position. But when you start in animation, you just also need to make things, and if you have nothing to show yet, you just have to have content. So the point is to like get work done and develop a style. So usually, I just started working for friends, and those are commissions, like if it's a music video, but it has to be personal. So I actually that's how I developed my personal style and themes through making these music videos. So now maybe if I get a different kind of client, I will...
Are clients looking for something specific in your work, or like they watch your work previously and they want something the same? What they are looking for?
Yeah, like when I started, I hadn't done any like my first animations. I was just asking people to trust me and just do something without giving me any feedback, and that kind of magically worked, but it could have gone wrong. So yeah, I think, and then I just developed this style, and that's what people started liking and asking me for. So that's also the point in like being quite strict with your vision and your style, is that people will, that's what they will come and ask you for. So now I get asked for things that are already kind of in the direction that I'm in, but I maybe wouldn't have thought of it myself, but it does make me grow in what I'm already kind of exploring. So
yeah, Daphna, was it maybe, it was completely maybe different for you, but was how everybody contacted you, what work they usually refer to, what style maybe, or something?
I want to answer your first question first. Yes, I mean, of course, you know, even if it's a commissioned work, of course, you can see me as the director there, and the visual language that I'm working with, and even if it's not like a documentary that exploring the meaning of home, you can still see me, like what's important for me as the director in this commissioned work. If it's and for me, mostly it's about the emotional aspect and the emotional effect of the work. So to your question, yes, I think it doesn't matter if it's a commissioned or a independent film. You know, as the director, of course you can feel your input or my input.
Tory.
I would probably add that it's impossible to separate yourself from your commission work, because you will do this commission work, so you will do it the way you see the world, and the way you observe the world, the way you see something will make an impact on what you're doing. And even when you're working on different projects, they have different style, they have different directors, art directors and style guides, but then you will adapt to each new style every time, but then also there'll always be the part from yourself that will be constant. But still, it will be constant with, it will change and evolve, because you as a person will evolve all the time in your life, and your style, the way you see the world will evolve. But everyone will see your work and they will know it's done by you, because it's something there between like lines that say it's done by someone. So you can't just separate those.
How did Netflix contact you? Because it seems like it's a very close company and there is no reply for them for a long period of time if you write them.
It's a usual thing for animation industry. No one answered you for years. It's fine. So I contacted them for like 10 times or something in different social networks. They have recruiters on Instagram. I follow them, they follow me back. But the way will you be hired or not, it always depends on what are their needs. If they need someone who works something like you, they will hire you. And it's no matter how good or bad are you, it's just the matter of their needs and be in the right time with the right person in contact. So for me, it works the way I was open for a job and I contacted one guy from Facebook who I knew from a couple of years. He is a production designer there, and I knew he just started. So I think if he just started, probably he will hire a team right soon. So I contacted him, hey, I'm looking for a job if you still need someone. And he showed my work to other art directors and for directors, and they approved me, and the recruiter set me an interview in like 15 minutes, and then I was hired. But that was like a lucky circumstances, and I was waiting for that for a couple of months before everything happens, because sometimes they just need time to hire someone. and it's a lot of bureaucracy.
Before actually the meeting, you were talking that you would like to work with Disney.
Still want.
Yeah. What's maybe not the company, but the product you were dying to work with, and what the product you will never work with?
So, like, what's our dream job?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I guess making music videos for my favorite artists.
Who are they?
Oh, like Flying Lotus. I love this band called Shabazz Palaces, a saxophone player, Colin Stetson. Yeah, it's probably not the most, I will not get the largest audience out of that, but it's more like something I really love. It would be to push a music video like that. And what's that? What the thing I would never want to do?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Like
You're
a commercial for a very evil company. I don't know.
Yeah, because like the Flying Lotus is band which looks like this is the highest creative point for any career, because I know that he's working with particular artists and sometimes he films by himself. Actually,
what do you mean?
I mean the director is from the band. Sometimes I know that.
Flying Lotus.
Yeah.
It's just one guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
it's really cool. That's what I'm talking about. Just like Daphna, what about you?
Yeah, it's a good question. I always wanted to make my own films, and now I got fundings for my new animated documentary. So it's happening, and that's really amazing. I'm super grateful for that. It's going to be a co-production between the Netherlands and Israel. If you're talking about commissions, it will be really great to do documentaries, like to do more documentaries that are commissioned. So if it's for maybe, I don't know, different organizations or different kind of events, but as animated documentaries, that I would like to do more is also commissions. And what I wouldn't like to do, I think, yeah, I would always like to do animation in my own way and style, and I wouldn't want to do something that I feel that, you know, it's not me, that it's not reflecting who I am as a creator. And yeah, thank God I'm now, you know, in a position that I can really do what I love. So that's really amazing.
Tory, what will you deny?
The more I work, the more I realize probably it's not about the studio or the client, it's more about the people you have to work with, because when you spend time as a designer on a feature movie, it's like 1 to 3 years together. It's like a new family, and you have to be really comfortable to work with them, otherwise it will be hell. So I would like to keep working with people I really admire and who admire me and who shares their responsibility with me, and I would not like to work with people I'm not comfortable with. And also, I guess everyone here and have like a favorite animation feature or a cartoon from like childhood that you can rewatch over and over again and which means something to society. So I would like to participate in one feature movie that will be still popular in a lot of years, that will still mean something, and that will make someone happy. That will make me happy.
Are you considering yourself a team player in the animation field when you're working on the particular project?
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
No.
No? Why?
Yeah, I'm very solo person. in my films.
You're an artist.
You know, when you do commissions, you have a client, you do need to, you know, communicate, change according to comments or negotiate about the changes. So of course, you know, it's not like I'm this loner in my studio, not communicating with anyone. But yeah, I really need to feel that I have the, yeah, my freedom.
Initially not, because I just did everything by myself. I also kind of didn't train to do animation professionally, so I would have like no idea how to like guide people to get to where I want to go. And I kind of had to learn that over the years. But now I'm starting to work with small teams of people that I know very well, and that's going well. So maybe the next step is working with total strangers, and that also goes well.
It might be the question for Daphna, because you're working with the documentaries, and they less like a commercial for something, because like how do you can commercialize a simple real story? Do you have different approaches for commercial and for the your film that you're working right now, actually?
Can
approaches. Do you have what approaches do you have for the work for commission cinema and for auteur cinema for the film you're working right now?
To be honest, I never did a commission documentary, so I can't really say about that. But yeah, in the last commissioned film that I did find a way to do it and to make it my own, even though it wasn't documentary. So, for example, writing a script, it's something that is really not natural for me. So I was looking for a poem which will be the base of the short. So yeah, it's always about finding the ways that gives you the inspiration and the way to make it your own. Even though it's not like my usual process as with my own films.
All of you are working as a jury for the festival. I know you cannot talk about the films you are watching, but what qualities you are looking in the winner film?
The thing I was looking for was like an original voice, so really to discover a director was really something special about him. So I was not so, I mean, there are a lot of very well-crafted, perfect animations, but I think these festival awards are also there to stimulate like personal growth in a like director's career, and I wasn't looking for something perfect, but also for something that had personality and imagination.
For me, it was a lot about the storytelling. I was really looking for, films that will also have an impact on me as a viewer, and interesting, original, creative storytelling. That's what I'm looking in the films.
Yes, same for me, the storytelling, because I have a logic kind of mind, so I have to understand what I'm watching. And if I can understand what story is about and what author was meant to convey to me as an audience, like what emotion or what like state of mind, then I will like buy it. So also I was looking for the way how clear they can tell the story, because sometimes they make like 10 minutes short, and you can say the same amount of information like in 2 minutes. And as audience, I don't like that, because I feel like I was cheated to watch it. So I kind of enjoy the movie that has like good storytelling, good visuals, obviously. Doesn't mean perfect, just good enough to convey the story. and the right amount of timing and the amount of time to tell the story in the best possible way.
I just want to add that for me it's not about the clarity of the story, but it's more about, if I feel connected to this, to the characters, if it makes me think, after, if it makes me feel something. So it's more about that. It's less about, the clarity and what really happened. Yeah.
I'm asking because actually sometimes when the jury is directors or working with the visual, we are intent to think that they want to maybe have a winner something similar to their visuals or storytelling or something like that. But sometimes it's completely different. And my question is about the influences you have previously, maybe in the festivals, because you have different backgrounds, music videos, documentary, you're working with Netflix and visuals and creating like really big worlds. Where do you take this inspiration from real life or maybe from cinema as well?
All over the places. It's like I said, you can't be an artist from like 10 to 8 or something. You're an artist constantly, all the time. So your brain is used to see some things that will stay in your mind. And in one time you will remember them and they will influence on your artwork. So my main inspiration probably would be obviously the real life, though I'm really a home person. So mostly it's internet. I really like to watch other artists grow through social media, Pinterest, Google, all those stuff, because I really admire the way they see the world, and that makes me, I want to try something new. I want to be like them in a good way. I want to try something new just to be still in a good place on the market to be hired, because I need someone to hire me constantly. Otherwise, I will starve. So seeing other people's successes is really what inspires me and keeps me becoming a better artist as well.
I think my biggest inspiration, like for my films, is conversations with people. Sometimes I can talk with someone, and while the other person is talking, I can already imagine how it will look like, how it will be animated, and just conversations with people. That's I think what really moves me.
Alice?
The question is, what inspires me, like in general?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, like maybe from something from cinema, something from real life.
Well, I have to dissociate a bit the form and content, I think, because I'm definitely inspired by cinema and like visual arts and like every kind of art form I find inspiring in terms of like my formal research. In terms of like themes, it's really I'm more inspired by like politics and sociology and like climate change and stuff like that. So, yeah, I don't know. It sounds like I'm saying I'm inspired by everything, so it's a bit vague.
That's how animation works. Also, you have a lot of projects going on and had before. What advice would you give to yourself before the first one, the first project, when you were young?
Don't underestimate the time it's going to take. Ask for more money. Get an agent. Go to bed in time and have breaks and go out for a walk and have weekends, and because it's not that important and you have to treat yourself properly.
same, but also if I could talk to myself when I graduated, I would like to say to myself, just be aware of that things take time, you know, building a career, building a reputation, building yourself, it will take time. So also don't be too harsh with yourself.
Absolutely same.
And also, working in the animation, you have to work with compromises. Are you easy with that or not?
I would say working for clients, it's always about compromises. For me, working for a feature movie, it's working on the movie that is directed by someone else. So if I believe that this design decision will be the best and my director says nope, I have to say okay, and that's all. That's all about compromises, because that's not my project, that project of someone else, and I've been hired to help him. And even if I'm pretty sure that will work, and he does not believe that, or he believes me, but he think I don't care, that's still fine. I just have to do what he has asked for. And also it's compromise with yourself sometimes. When you want to do, let's say you want to try something more experimental or some another kind of approach, but sometimes you don't have the production time to do that, or you're pretty sure they will not buy that. You have to say, it's fine, I will do what they want, but on my free time, on my personal project, I will realize this desire to try something else.
I think it's always about finding the balance, right? So, especially with clients, yeah, I mean, if it's commissioned, you know, you need to be sensitive to also their comments, their feedback. On the other hand, as a director or as an illustrator, you know, you also, there are some things that I would insist, you know, and that I can't change. So it's always, I think, about finding the balance on what you are willing to change and do, and what is really like, you know, too important for you.
Well, I think that working with like a set of limitations and rules is actually like extremely stimulating to be creative and find ideas. So I really like thrive on that to work. But then if you're the director, then you also have more control over like the decision making. So you do get more control than if you're like hired as a designer or something. So I'm open to external opinions and feedback if I think, oh, that's a good idea, I wish I'd come up with it myself. But if it goes against the vision that I have, then I'm going to fight for it. So this balance, like Daphna said.
Yeah, but like also the interesting thing that you're talking about the creative process and working in the animation, but it's your lifetime achievement, your career. How do you relax from that? Do you have anything to switch on something? Or you're just completely strictly working directly with the animation and you just non-stop on that creative process?
What are my hobbies, you mean?
Well, yeah, maybe because actually it is very common in Ukraine, for example, that animation directors, they work in sometimes for a very long period of time and alone, and they have to and intend to take some commercials to survive, as Tory said, and that's the issue with the burning out, so to speak. And I don't know if you have it.
Yeah, I think a lot of animators suffer from this lifestyle because it's very...
It's very addictive, you just can't stop.
Yeah, exactly. So it becomes a very obsessive thing. So I guess over time you learn how to have breaks and how to like go to the swimming pool or go hiking, or like just find things that actually make you a bit more active and make you go outside. But I guess for me, I have a balance that's quite nice because I like I have freelance jobs for money that are like not animation related. So that's actually a nice like respiration in between the animation stuff where I just put my career and my oeuvre aside and just work for other people, and I just like design books or things like that, and that's a nice balance to have. But overall, I think just like having normal work hours is a good start.
The question was, do you have any methods against burning out in your occupation? Advice?
Maybe, I'm not sure, but maybe, like for me, maybe it's good that I'm also, I'm doing different things. Like I'm not working every day on my animation. I also illustrate for clients. I'm working on a personal book now and of a commissioned book as an illustrator. I started to teach this year in William de Koning Academy in Rotterdam, second-year animation students. So, I think when you, because I'm working in different hats, it's also, it helps me not to feel like fed up.
Yeah, it might seem very different, right?
Well, I'm okay to be in animation my whole time. So it's been like 8 or 9 years since I started this to pursue this dream and the goal, and I'm still comfortable with that. I believe I didn't have any burnout. Sometimes I'm just tired, and but I know when I'm tired and I have to stop no matter what. And evening walks with dog really helps a lot. And keeping your working times, that's true, because otherwise, like a couple of years ago, I was working for like 14 hours or something, and I was young and I was feeling okay with that. Now I just can't. My body does not allow me to sit on a chair more than 8 hours. That helps too, just to stop. And keeping like weekends off work helps. I'm still trying to keep out of computer. I'm still failing in this, but I'm working on that. Also, I would say just taking vacation times helps. Sometimes you believe like, I don't need a vacation right now, I'm fine. But once you will go there, you will like, oh, that's why people are so excited about vacation. So you just have to try that and you will enjoy that.
I can also add that sometimes when it's possible, it's also really good to take, if it's possible, to take some space from the project. For example, this year I worked a lot on the development and the application for the production funds. And I was so I was very emotional about everything, and after the applications were submitted, I just took time off. I had time to wait for the answers, and I didn't touch it. And I feel like it really gave me more energies now to go back to it. Mm-hmm. So if it's possible, it's also nice to take space.
Maybe we have questions from the audience. If we do.
Thank you for the inspiring interview. And I wanted to ask one question. For your personal opinion in the commercial animation, what trends are dead for now and actually not modern, and what tendencies or trends will be developing in the nearest future? Thank you.
So I would say for a big commercial project, our basic aesthetic rules are changing and evolving all the time, the way that society in all countries are evolving, the way that our clothing evolving, and art in museums and cinema, everything evolves and creates new aesthetic all the time. So you have just to be open-minded and watch a lot of stuff in shops, in TV, on internet, the way people, even like GIF animation, it's changing all the time and there are new trends and they will all reflect somehow in a big project because you have to create something that will be familiar for audience. So if you're open, then you will see it. And also for big commercial projects, they have to be liked by a huge amount of people. It's like billions of people. So it's always have to be appealing no matter what. Even if you're creating like zombie animation movie like Paranormal, it has to be appealing. It doesn't have to be too scary because audience will not buy it. So you have all the time to ask yourself, is it appealing enough? Is it like clear enough in terms of storytelling? And then you'll be fine.
I don't know if my answer is what you're looking for, but if you would ask me, yeah, it's not so much about the trends, but what's in your tummy. Like I think, you know, the artists that I appreciate the most are artists who really are doing something that they're very passionate about and that is very unique to them, and they have like their own personal language of storytelling, of visuals. So again, I don't know exactly where you are directing, but for me, it's also about being honest and do what's really in your heart.
I would also probably add that about trends, someone creates those trends. It's someone who actually believes to himself and who listens to himself, like what's his tummy. So if you want to be the one who creating those trends and who populating them, you have to always be able to hear your own voice and realize how to convey it to the audience in the best possible way, and then you will be the one who creating those trends and people will follow you.
Alice, do you have anything to add?
Was the question about what trends we could see in the selection? I definitely don't think any techniques are dead. I think any technique can keep on being used in an original way. I guess just like new technologies or like ways of just creating images will just become more and more implemented, and that's great. And we saw a bit of that in the selection we had, and I couldn't tell really if there was like trends or similarities between the films, because I think like the quality of a festival like this, like they really cherry pick the nicest stuff from all over the world, so it's not representative of the majority of what's going on. So I think we had a lot of very different personal things, and I didn't see anything that was just gratuitously trendy, or I mean, not in this selection. I'm sure there are tons of them, but I cannot think of them now.
But what about NFT, for example? They actually like really trending for the past year. Alice.
You mean like the aesthetic of NFT?
Aesthetic of NFT, the GIF animation in this NFT, for example, or what's your take on that?
Yeah, I think NFT is a super interesting, controversial tool, and now it's a bit stuck in this very specific aesthetic, and I think I'm just waiting for any kind of artist to like start using it and use it as a tool and not as a visual language, because now that's all you see, like they all really look similar, and I think it will just, the more it's used by more independent authors, the more it will be actually just a tool and not a style or something.
It's also very often used as a tool for just sale.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you considering to make something like that?
NFTs?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But it's super, like, I don't know yet. I'm gonna wait a bit because like this whole controversy that is extremely like costly in terms of energy and it's actually very wasteful. So we should wait that for another more ethical blockchain to develop so you can go for those NFTs. And I'm not enough of a nerd to actually want to defend a position in this right now. So I'm waiting for it to be to my level to actually get involved. So now I'm kind of looking around, but I know like David O'Reilly released an NFT and he actually got really slammed for it apparently. So I don't really know why, but I don't really know why he did it either. So it's definitely interesting. People are starting to use it, so it's to be followed, I think.
You don't want to have an NFT?
No, I don't have an opinion on that.
Okay. Maybe more questions? No? I was told maybe we will have it at monitor, but actually, if we don't have any questions, one of mine personal feelings on the animation that it's a very powerful tool for the emotional, and it's more powerful in the creation process, because we were talking about the burnout, we were talking about the process of creating author and commission animation. What part emotionally for you is very demanding in creating animation?
Yeah, the development. It's like for me it's the hardest, because that's where all the doubts and all the insecurity, and I think, you know, maybe a year from now I will talk later because I just finished the development phase of my film, but I think in production things are a bit more clear, you know. Okay, yes, there are problems that need to be solved all the time, but it's a bit more clear, you know, what needs to be done. And in the development, it's like, you know, you have no ground, you have lots of doubts, and it's hard. It was really hard. I'm happy I finished it.
Tory, what about you?
I believe the same. So when the feature project just started, even before pre-production, there are like a development phase, which is also called like blue sky. Blue sky because it's super open with no borders and you can do everything. But by doing everything, someone pays you to do that, and you realize you have to find something they will like, and you have no idea what they are looking for, and they also have no idea. And you're just experimenting all the time, and it's very sensitive process because every time you create new artwork, you put a part of your soul in that. And when you're showing, they like, nope, it's nice, thank you, but we don't like it. It's fine. You have to get used to it and separate that it's not about you, it's not about your abilities, it's just the idea doesn't work enough for them, and you still have to keep going and keep finding something that will solve some production problems. And it's interesting, but still it's, for me, the person who prefer to have like frames and borders, it's really hard and scary because you have too much possibilities and you have too much opportunities to fail.
We don't have questions because that might be the last chance. Well, my last question for this will be on the scale of the festivals. I assume everybody wants to get for Annecy or, for example, any other festival where they have the program for the animation. Are you considering that your commercial work can get to the festival or not? Would you take your commercial work for to the festival if you have that opportunity?
The only work I sent to festivals was
commercials.
Work, so
yeah.
it, yeah,
they have like in LINOLEUM they have the commercial competition, but usually the competitions in a lot of festivals are not commercial ones. So I know that in Ukraine, for example, not all directors, not only animation, they don't tend to show advertisements, commercial work, because sometimes they are maybe ashamed of it or something like that.
You mean like directors don't want to submit
the film
to
for
general
the
competition?
Yeah.
Well, I guess for a commercial, like an advertisement, it's a bit complicated. But for a music video, it's the limit is not very clear. I've had a music video have a short film career, so everything's possible.
Daphna?
Yeah, I think, you know, if the answer was no, we wouldn't be here today.
Yeah.
So yes, I think, you know, of course, if you made a, you know, commissioned animation and you are standing behind it, of course, send it to festivals, and yeah, it can really open doors. So why not?
If my kind of commercial, so it's not festival, it's opposite to festival. But for example, all the studios are always bring their like major projects to Unsee just to share what they are working on. So in that way, yes, I would like to people to see what we've been working on for so long, and it's always nice on those festivals just to share among the people who share your passion, and you share like a part of this passion with them, and it's really intimate process, I believe, but it also what connects all those artists among each other, which I really like about this industry.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.